The past few weeks, you've heard people sharing their vision of what our world could look like. You've heard stories from a couple different people who talked about what they hope for the future. I think it's rather fitting that on this All Saints' Day, our epistle this morning is from the book of Revelation, where we hear John's vision of a new heaven and a new earth. Of a new Jerusalem, the holy city of God, coming down. The old earth has passed away. There's this beautiful vision of this world where there is no crying or death or mourning or pain. It's such a beautiful world, and one that you and I can take part in, one that you and I can help make a reality today. In fact, that's what we're all called to do as followers of Jesus. As God's holy church, we are called to make that new heaven and that new earth a reality. On All Saints' Day, we remember all those who have gone before us, all the saints who, for various reasons, are remembered throughout the ages for their courageous acts, their incredible devotion. This Sunday, I say we can join those saints. We too can do wonderful things. We too can have incredible faith. It takes work. It's work that you and I will have to do. And it's going to take looking at a few visions of what the future could look like. And so this morning I invite Iams to come forward and share another one of those visions.
Good morning. This went pretty well at the earlier service, so I'm challenged to try to do it as well now. My wife listening to me. Many of you who know our family know that my wife Pat has been a common person, a common appearance in the halls of St. Mark's for many years. We've been here for 30 years. But we're really quite different. She's the one who brought me to church. So, unlike Pat, I was not a cradle Episcopalian, not a regular churchgoer. And we had somewhat different life in general. She could easily be described as a Pollyanna, and I probably on the other side of things more like Winnie the Pooh's colleague Eeyore. Close to half full. As life has progressed, though, I have adopted a philosophy in life that's it's better to be lucky than good. You hear that phrase a lot for a variety of different reasons, but I think it's applied reasonably well. I'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, we've been here almost 35 years at St. Mark's. And we've learned how St. Mark's has become a part of our life. We've found it to be a special place where we come to think about and encounter things that are important, serious things, religious things, not so religious things, ethical behaviors, how to live your life in a proper way. It's become a home for our family. We have 5 children and 10 grandchildren at present, a couple more peeking around the corner, not to the point. Those children, our children and their children, are comfortable here. They grew up here. They know what St. Mark's is for. The building is familiar and the culture is familiar to them. We've been able to introduce our children to what a life would be like with a religious commitment, so that they have something at least to judge whatever they encounter in the future. to judge that by and say, how does this stack up? Do I like this better? Not as much as what we had when I was a kid at St. Mark's. We've had all the usual events. We've had baptisms, confirmations, acolytes, looking at Andy now, marriages, losses, funerals, and we've experienced God's grace, His building, because of our relationship with all of you, with our friends, our colleagues. Anyway, we like it here. We come to want to sustain it. We want to support St. Mark's. So now it gets to where the phrase, it's better to be lucky than good, comes along. Because the stewardship talk is always about time, talent, and treasure. And in particular, in this case, treasure. And it's better to be lucky than good is where you start with that. Now, what does that mean? Luck really turns out to mean an opportunity recognized and taken advantage of, seized, embraced, used for good. You can be exposed to opportunities, but if you don't have a little bit of luck or you're not properly prepared, you can go right by. We've all been lucky, and I think as you have. We have all born in a country where we're safe, in a part of the country where we might be safer than some other parts of the country. We live in this city. Most of us are white. We don't know the experience of being shunned without any words being passed because of the color of our skin. Most of us are pretty well educated. We've never feared for our next meal, or that our house would not be there when we came home, or that someone would break in. We really lived in a very lucky place that we've all taken advantage of to some degree. So it is very good to be lucky, and it's lucky, better lucky perhaps than good. There are many people not far from us geographically who have not experienced any of those things. So we have, I think, a special responsibility to take care of our own needs and for those who are less fortunate than we are. And that can include somebody within our church or nearby geographically, or maybe not so much. And St. Mark's really serves all of that. You could call it a one-stop shopping center for service to each other and service to the surrounding community. So that means if you're fortunate, and if you've been lucky enough to have had a good life, and you're experiencing a good life, then I think that means you have to do something about that. And sometimes it comes down to simply the stewardship talk. You have to serve, and that means reaching for your checkbook or your wallet or whatever. So what we want to protect is not just inside St. Mark's, but its outreach mission as well. And I think it's fair to say that because we are lucky, been able to enjoy the good fruits of that luck, that it's time that we realize that our donations to this church, our support of this church financially, should be at the level where it's the first thing you think of when you think of your charitable donations. And that you think that it ought to be something that challenges you a little bit, that causes a discussion. Can we afford that much? Should we? You don't want it to be the last. It needs to be the first. And one way to say it would be, put another zero at the end of whatever the number was, add a zero. That can be or at least make it a crooked number. Some of you are old enough to remember when baseball people talked about, let's put up some crooked numbers, something other than a 0 or a 1. Let's put a 5 up there or a 7. Let's put some crooked numbers and commit ourselves and recognize we are lucky. We have enjoyed the good fruits of our life, where we were born and how we were raised and how we were educated. And it's time for us to sustain that for the little children that we see and for those that we don't see as fortunate as we are. Thank you.